Welcome back to Market Pros. Alright, so here we got Bitcoin on Bybit on the 4-hour. As you can see, still in this range. It looks like your moving averages are starting to curl back over your 21 and your 50. You were starting to get an upside slope on them. Basically, this last dump that we had yesterday, well, it's not really a dump, but you know, this downside move we had yesterday basically curled them back down. I mean, we're just going in a sideways range. We're being held down by the POC point of control on the VPVR in the top here, also the 100 SMA. So we had a high level of resistance here. I mean, it was going to be pretty hard to break this level anyway. Now that the 200 or the 100 has came down to the POC, that's going to be the level to break now. So basically, if we can break this 50 on a 1-hour closure, I think we would touch the top of the range once again, possibly even break it. Your momentum is starting to look a little bearish. Your RSI did bounce. You did enter the bearish control zone, bounced off the top of the bearish control zone, and looks like we're resuming down. Now, it could be a fake out, but that's going to be whether we get back above the 50 or not. And the POC point of control, also the 100. If we break all these levels right here, I think we could break the top of this range. It's going to be a hard level to get above. Your vol is starting to pick up. As you can see, your BBWP on the 4-hour is entering the upper zone, still expanding. Let's move down to the 1-hour. Alright, so here on the 1-hour, we got another one of these moving average signals. Now, every other time, let's see, we got this one. Every other time we've got these signals inside this range so far, it's been a bottom. Now, that's not to say this time is going to be the same, but these other two iterations right here, you know, we did get the bottom right where they crossed. Basically, we got your multi-crossover right here, almost the bottom. Multi-crossover right here, almost the bottom. And we'll see whether this is the same. Now, we could come down, test the bottom of this range first. Would be very common. It's kind of looking like that might be what's happening. Now, I'm not really expecting us to break this range just yet. I was wrong about the move happening in the next few days. Now I think it's going to happen more midweek. So basically, today's Tuesday, so probably either today or tomorrow. Probably closer to the FOMC meeting that's tomorrow. We are in the bearish control zone on the RSI. Above the signal line, but it looks like we're coming back down to retest it. Now, if we get across, that probably would lead us back down to the bottom of the range. If we can stay above it and have this MACD continue rising above and your positive momentum continue to increase on the histogram, I think you could possibly break these moving averages. But I'd like to see your vol expanding at the same time. So I'd like to see this BBWP starting to rise, possibly even get in the upper zone as your momentum oscillators turn up. So obviously validation of the upside, be the top of the range. I think that would lead us to 32,500. Probably get some sort of rejection from there, possibly back down to the top of the range, then work our way up to the 35K region. Validation of the downside would be to break the bottom of the range. Then I think we would come back down, test the lows at about, let's go ahead and put a box here. Let's see. Somewhere in here would be what I'd be looking at. So somewhere in the 27K region. Let's go ahead and change the color on this. So yeah, somewhere in the 27K region would be what I'd be looking at. So yeah, I mean, those are my thoughts for Bitcoin. By the way, if you guys are liking this video so far, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Free way to support the channel. Turn on the bell notifications so you can get more of this time-sensitive content. Let's move on to Ethereum. Here on Ethereum, similar story. we finally did make a higher high, and it looks like, I mean, on the 4-hour, we're on the 4-hour on Coinbase, by the way. So on the 4-hour, it looks like we could be making a higher low, and we would have a higher high, which would be the first time. And actually, we did make a higher low here, higher high. If we're making a higher low, I think we maybe could get up to the 100 at least, and possibly break that. If we break that 100, I think we work our way up to the 2350 region. Okay, so crossing the zero line, negative momentum is increasing. Let's see, your RSI is in the bearish control zone right now. You did test the top of it, so looks like you could be coming back down to the bottom of this last low right here at 1900 region. Basically, this purple line that we had drawn out is where I'm thinking that we kind of go. You kind of got front ran this 100. So basically, I would count that as a rejection of the 50, which we got front ran quite a few times. This time we got above it, had a little bit of a fake out, crack back down. Your vol is expanding. As you can see, your BBWP is entering the upper zone. Let's move it on down to the 1-hour. So on your 1-hour, it looks like you're making a lower high, lower low. All right, so that's kind of coincides with us coming back down to this 1900 level. Now, that would coincide with Bitcoin coming back down to the bottom of this range. Okay, now back on Ethereum, your momentum oscillators. All right, so your RSI is in the bearish control zone below that signal line. Your MACD is below the signal line. It looks like you're starting to print another dark red bar right now as your downside curvature starts to continue. As your BBWP expands, which means your vol's picking up while the price action's moving down. That's what I'm saying. It makes me believe that we're going to come down to the 1900 level along with Bitcoin. Validation to the upside would be to break this last high. If we can break this last high, there's a lot of hot air in between here, all the way until we get up to this 2300 level region, 2350 region. So yeah, I mean, if we can break this last high, I'm going to go ahead and put a line here. So basically, this last high on a 1-hour closure, I would expect us to come up to 2350 region. And yeah, so those are my thoughts for Ethereum. Let's move on to Solana. Solana grinding out the bottom of this range right now. Solana looks weaker than the others. I mean, the others are kind of towards the middle of the range. Solana is grinding out the bottom of the range. So if Bitcoin does go down to that bottom of that range, that would mean Solana would be breaking down out of this range. You basically have a range within a range as well. So let's go ahead and make that, because I'd like to have visual on that range as well. So you basically have a range within a range, and your RSI is in the bearish control zone. Let's see here. You do have bullish divergence, so that could lead you up to the 50, possibly the midline of the range. But we'll see. It's either going to be that or breaking the bottom of this range right now. Let's see. Or, I mean, could always go sideways. I mean, we are trying to get this positive MACD cross as your negative momentum is decreasing. As your vol seems to be printing a low signal right now on the BBWP. As you can see, it looks like the curvature is starting to turn around, But I mean, you're moving sideways right now. This could just bounce around down here at the bottom for a while. We could just grind out this area for a while, just like we kind of did here, but we were going up to the right a little bit. If we break the bottom of the range, I think we come down to the $40 region. Break the top of the range, I think we probably get a rejection from 60.50, but ultimately I think we would get up to 66.50 region. So yeah, these ranges are going to basically lead us to either this diagonal line or this diagonal line, in my opinion, which would coincide with Bitcoin getting either 35K or basically the last low at around 25 to 27K. So that's what I'm looking at for Solana. Yeah, so once again, if you guys like the content, like and subscribe to the channel. And check out the links in the description below, one being the Discord. A lot of good conversation there. And everyone have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening. And I will see you tomorrow.